Hello everybody, Edgar Fernandez again from Pharmaceutical Safety Limited, located in Brantford, Ontario, Canada. Um, we continue with the process safety culture series. Now we're gonna talk about the process safety competency. That is one of the aspects to establish the process safety culture. I'm Edgar Fernandez. Our mission is to help companies to achieve safety compliance, to increase productivity, and creating a win-win work culture. I have 23 years of experience in process and on occupational safety areas in the pharmaceutical, manufacturing, oil and gas industries. Currently, I hold the professional engineering designation in Ontario and Alberta in Canada. I'm a Canadian registered safety professional. I'm a certified safety professional in the United States. I hold a bachelor's degree in chemical engineering. I'm the owner of Pharmaceutical Safety Limited. So the process safety competency has three aspects that we need to take in account. It needs to be consistently applied. That means that we need to have the right knowledge um, regarding on the industry and the process standards, laws and codes, and obviously the knowledge of technology of those areas that I just said. So, and then obviously there is no one person who's gonna know everything. So there is a team, or there is several or few people that has that knowledge, that needs to have that knowledge. For example, so we have experts in maintenance, we have experts in engineering, experts in the area of training, experts in the area of safety, so and production as well. So different the standards, laws, codes, and regulations. Obviously, they have those aspects as well: the designing, the evaluation, the implementation, the maintaining. So that knowledge of those standards, and also the knowledge of the technology that is on the market regarding on your on your manufacturing process is very important to have. So that means that is consistent. That means consistently applying. So there are a few people or several people who need to have that knowledge, and obviously constantly apply that knowledge, constantly check that information to perform the task that they are assigned. Information access. So to have that consistently applying aspect, we need to have access to the information. There are two ways to have access. One is obviously by training. So you can have that training coming from different from different parts, or from different sources. The one source is the manufacturer. So if you have a specific equipment on your manufacturing process, obviously the person who knows the most of that equipment is going to be the manufacturer. Some of those manufacturers, they provide training to and specific people, maintenance and production. One is to maintain, the another one is to operate, and they're explaining the aspects of safety as well. They follow codes and regulations and standards to operate that equipment, to design that equipment as well. The another source, it's being subscribed to different associations to get that information. You have in the United States ANSI, the American National Standard Institute, or you have in Canada the Canadian Standard Association, CSA. Also, you have NFPA, National Fire Protection Association in the United States. You have different associations such as the American Institute of Chemical Engineers. In Canada, you have the Society of Chemical Engineers as well, or any other society, depending on the engineering that it's on involved in that process as well. Not only the chemical, could be the mechanical as well. You have standards like boiler standards. You have other standards, other international standards such as um, um, could be NFPA, could be some European standards as well, depending if they come from Europe. Those equipments, they have slightly different standards as well. So my recommendation, if you are in Canada, United States, at least you need to have access to OSHA, to NFPA, to ICHE, or any other institute in Canada, any other society. So that's very important to have that access to those standards, codes, and regulations, and continuous improvement. So we need to verify where that documentation, that competency needs to be updated. So that's the things that we need to check out when we want to establish competency. Like I said, the first one is how we want to apply it. It needs to be consistent, and then but also we need to have access to that information, and then obviously we need to apply that the most updated information that we have on the market to have to be in compliance with process safety. So there are three conditions to have a process safety competency, and that's those they are very important. I put it in 1, 2, and 3, but really they interact each other. There is not an ascending order to have the first one or the second one. So actually you have two and you don't have the third one. So you have the first, the second, but the third one you don't have it. Well, nothing is gonna be successful. So the first, I would say that the number one, it's a business case describes the expected benefits and the level of resources that must be invested to achieve those benefits. It's very important that there are two words that we need to notice here. One is invested. So like I said on my previous videos and some posts that I have posted in some other social media, it's you need to invest. Safety is an investment. It's not when somebody is seeing safety or process safety as a cost. It's because there are two things that happen actually, and this point clarified that very well. The first one is you don't know the value that it's going to provide to have a process safety management program, and that is something that I encourage, that you need to find the value, because that's going to give you the some advantage to not only to compete, to dominate your market. And obviously to have this competency you need to provide resources. There are human resources and material resources, so you need to have people willing to learn, willing to learn in this area, the process safety, willing to learn the technology, willing to learn the techniques or the procedures, and also you need to have the right people with the right education. Not only professional engineers, you need to have technicians in maintenance, for example, that they know how to operate boilers, they know how to maintain boilers, they know, for example, how to maintain dust collectors, they know electricians, for example, they know what codes, they know very well the national electrical code, if they are working in a combustible powder areas or in the flammable liquids areas. So that's the resources that you need to have, material, and human resources, and invest on those resources as well if you want to achieve the benefits of our process safety. And another thing that I forgot to mention here that is very important is achieve those benefits. Always you need to ask yourself what's going to be the perspective, or what you want to see yourself as a company in 5 years regarding on process safety, or you have you have a risk approach mentality in your company. That answer can be easy to find, but if not, it's something that encourages that companies do it, because that's gonna give you the edge to compete and dominate the market. It's not only how much product you sell and how much is. First, if you want to be successful in your market, you need to be successful in your company as well. How you treat people, and how you respect your process as well. And respecting your process is knowing very well your manufacturing um, process, such as what type of equipment you have, the benefits, the disadvantages of the equipment, how you need to operate, how you need to maintain that equipment. So that refers to the first one. The second one is the organization inherently values technology and places particular value on enhancing its process safety competency. So it's very important. It's values technology. I know companies actually sometimes they see the technology as a cost, but I'm being working. I have working companies when they value technology, and actually they 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 see that instead of a cost, they put it as a capital projects that they depreciate better, and there is no it doesn't go to the cost to the expense uh, um, aspect of your financial statements. So technology and those type of companies is very valuable, and they value that. Um, because it's not the same to have technology. I put it in this way. It's not the same to have a 1970 technology or a 2017 technology. You're gonna do a lot of modifications on the 1970, and you're gonna spend more money, and you're gonna have more headaches. And actually, you're gonna be you're putting in risk yourself to have incidents in your facility. 2017, well, you have more technology, the standards has changed, the point of view of the manufacturer as well, and then they follow those codes, regulations, and the standard. And obviously, they provide the training, and they have the knowledge as well. And they put the value on process safety. I'm seeing some companies actually it's putting the philosophy of process safety in all the aspects. Like I mentioned in my last video, because they see they have seen the benefits, so they extrapolate or those benefits of the program to a non-PSM area, such as packaging or warehousing as well. Not all the aspects, but some of them, such as MOCs, PSSRs, pre-start safety reviews, not the full or detailed process hazard analysis, but something similar for some type of equipment as well that they are not covered to a non-PSM. And the third one is the organization believes that the decision should be based on knowledge that is supported by facts. So that's an is when here it's obviously the knowledge is, like I said, it's technology and standards, but also you need to find facts. Um, so that's on the way that you want when you want to acquire the technology or you want to make some modifications. I'm gonna explain something. For example, if you want to modify a line that you are having a lot of incidents with flammable liquids, so you need to collect that information in base what has happened in each case and what has been the common factor to have those incidents. That's the facts. And when you have those facts, that data all analyzed, so you can go to the standard and support better implementations, better proposals to improve your process safety in your company. The elements that you need to establish to have a PSM competency are the following. First, you need to establish what objectives you want to have the PSM competency. And for that, you need to see yourself what you want to achieve in a certain period. So you want to dominate the PSM as a part of the culture of the company to be recognized in your market by your peers. So that's something that you need to establish. So, okay, you're going to dominate that. In how long you're going to do that? You're going to achieve that. And appoint a champion who's going to be managing those resources to make sure that they are competent in that area. So, like I said, it's a team effort. So you need to identify what aspects of safety of process safety you have on your company. What type of other aspects they are involved, such as fire, for example. Who's going to be the expert on fire? Or did you have a limited personnel? So how many competencies they can handle? Obviously, they cannot handle everything, right? So two person cannot handle everything. But you have engineering, so they need to be the experts on the design and evaluate and implement and install equipment, the same maintenance, how they're gonna maintain, and safety for the department, the department of safety or the process safety engineer. Obviously, he needs to know everything in the general manner. Also, the specific knowledge of say on the safety side. Obviously, he needs to know it, but but also he needs to know in general what other departments are doing as well. So identify the benefits. If you don't know the value, you cannot establish goals and you cannot establish the program. So develop a learning plan. And this is very important. The learning plan is not the same as training plan. Develop a learning plan. So means what type of personnel you're gonna use, what type of characteristics that personnel needs to have, right? It's a college degree, it's a university degree. How many years of experience needs to have? How you're gonna make the transition from one from a junior engineer or an engineer in transition from university to the industry, and it's gonna be in engineering, and then obviously they're gonna be involved and in touch with people and with the process as well. How you gonna make sure to make a career path to him in terms of that knowledge? So how many training courses or what specific courses he needs to have? So pretty much it's like you is developing the career as a process safety engineer or as an engineer in your company. That's the learning plan, and then how often he needs to take that. He needs to follow that learning plan. How often he needs to go for those training courses. A training plan, it's that now is specific on your process. What type of information you have, the procedures, the standard operational procedures, and the internal standards that your company has, all the company information of the company who define the culture. That's the training program. But the learning program is something is very specific by person and is specific by position as well. That is not the same as training program. Because learning is not involved in SOP. That's a part of the training. Learning is, okay, this person is coming from the university. What's gonna be the path that for him to make sure that he achieve the quality of expertise, would say in 5 years. So what's gonna be the path? What he needs to read, what he needs to have access for that information, the training needs external courses, how you're gonna mentor, how you're gonna coach him or her. That's your learning, different from training. Promote a learning organization. So how the organization is gonna learn, how they're gonna adapt to new changes, to new knowledge. So that's the value to promote a learning organization. And that's the reason why you have this competency. So you develop people, right? So you make sure that each one of the people who are performing, who are working in your company, have this development, this path of learning, because that's gonna be an expectation. So that knowledge that she's gonna acquire needs to be applied to your company. So that's the elements you need to take in count. There are companies that they are not a company that they are not they don't have that culture of learning. So how they're gonna be adapt to the changes in the future? You cannot adapt to changes, to small changes, little by little. With this, I'm not saying that if the standard, for example, changes tomorrow, you need to change everything, unless the government says that everybody needs to change. I'm gonna give you an example. For example, the global harmonized system. Well, that's the government says. For example, in Canada, they said in 2017, June 2017, everybody follows that. That was federal, and that was set 3 years ago, 4 years ago. But if the NFPA 30 or NFPA 654 change, well, you can evaluate the change and then say, well, I can go or not today, because obviously it depends on budget. So you make the budget every year, and maybe that change has not been taken in count, and it's difficult, right? But maybe in the future can be done, or if you're gonna modify your process or you're gonna bring a new equipment is when you implement this new change. So, but always you need to be aware of that. Always you need to be aware of those changes, learning. Another way to learn is people, you have certified people. So the certifications the designations of certifications are very important. Why? Because obviously each association, they have a competency program. They're asking for training courses to accumulate or to have a minimum amount of points that is keep everybody update in your field, in any engineering field, for example. It's not different than the chemical engineering or process safety areas as well. Tolerate mistakes and promote learning. That's very important as well. Obviously, sometimes happens that the interpretation of the standard cannot be done in a proper way. But we wanna see later how we can adjust that to eliminate or minimize mistakes and errors. So the activities obviously to eliminate and minimize these mistakes, also to promote the learning and also to promote communication and be on top of that knowledge. There are certain activities that needs to be done, and one is to promote. We need to promote technology knowledge. So if you have robots in your company, for example, or you have um, dust collectors, I would say, well, the people who are involved in dust collection, for example, they need to know everything or at least the general aspects on the combustible powders area, and also they need to know technology on the aspects of the technology of those collectors. And you can subscribe to magazines as well, so you can promote that in your company as well. You need to read magazines, technical magazines, and also you need to establish that learning path as well. Document knowledge. When I can find that documentation, what the documentation in a specific says. Push the knowledge to appropriate people. So that means you're gonna develop the learning plan. So who needs to know, for example, fire codes? Who needs to know combustible dust? Who needs to take those training? Obviously, you cannot send 10 people, but that's the ideal situation. But really, maybe the other 3 or 4 or 6 people, they don't know, they don't need to know combustible powders. But you're gonna send, okay, these 4 people, they need to know combustible powders, and you push them to know more. And actually, it's gonna be part of their evaluation. I'm seeing in other uh, the performance evaluations, they have a section that they have this part that they call learning. So how they have done to learn and needs to be documented. And then it's gonna be part of his performance evaluation as well. It's not training. It's how they are adding value to their position by having that knowledge. And that's pretty good. I consider that. Update the information. So obviously, as a company, it's not your work or your primary function to update the information. However, having those subscriptions to different associations, they're gonna update you. They're gonna do that update for you, and then you can be on your information and knowledge of your specific process. Promote conversation. This is very important. Sometimes I'm seeing that people have the knowledge, but they don't share the knowledge. Reasons: fear. Reasons, that's one of the primary factors, is the fear that if somebody knows more than him or her, they believe that they're going to lose the job, and that is not the case. um, Especially in engineering, I notice that we tend to do that to hide information. And well, we are not in the school anymore. That's that you need to promote that conversations. And one example is promote the conversation with the operators. That's the prime example on this activity. So explain them why they are doing, what we are doing certain things, why we can or what we cannot do. So because always the operators or people who are on the floor, or technicians, they have questions and they don't have that information, but you have it. You explain them why they can do it or why they cannot do it. And that's it. And that's when you promote those conversations. And then is when creativity comes to play, because you are explaining that they cannot do something because you're going to be in violation of the standard of the engineering practice. But there can be some ideas that can be discussed during that conversation, that obviously one of those ideas can be in compliance with the standards and regulations, and they're going to make their lives easier as well. They're going to make the process more efficient and more effective. Plan. Plan personnel transitions. This is very important, especially in process safety. I'm seeing through my experience that we don't record transitions very well, taking in account process safety criteria. We don't create MOCs, management of change, to promote people from one position to another, or from one non-PSM department to a PSM department. We believe that is the training program is going to cover that. No. So like I said, and we have seen on this video, it's you need to make sure that that person has and understands the learning path and the training path as well. How you gonna make sure that he understood procedures? How you gonna make sure that where he's gonna find that information regarding on codes, laws, and standards, and technological information about the process that he's gonna be involved or she's gonna be involved in the future. That's the transitions. They need to be recorded. We need to be documented. So there are sections on the pre-start safety reviews regarding on transition people when you transfer people from one department to another. And it's the same when you hire a manager or the manager is going to a plant manager. But it's working in the same department. I would consider, well, I would say, yeah, it needs to be done as well, and make sure that they have all this learning path is being talked, is being in those conversations, and needs to be recorded for sure on an MOC. Now, you want to, obviously somebody can say or can say, okay, transitions. I cannot say what person are gonna move from one position to another or from one department to another because it's confidential. That is very understandable, and you make that part of the MOC confidential. That's it. So certain people can see it. And that's the people who's going to be involved in that transition. It can be a trainer, can be an engineer, or can be a safety. Solicit knowledge from external sources. Could be magazines, could be the manufacturers, could be a consultant. You can go a conference, etc., etc. So that's always there is an information outside regarding on any depending on the topic that you want to get mastered, right? And that's the thing that needs to be actually budgeted on the learning budget every year. So how much you want to dedicate for this? Because nowadays I notice that not many companies they have the training program, but they don't execute it because they don't have money, and even worse, they don't have a learning program. So if they have troubles to train people for the budget because of budgeting, imagine um, to implement a learning path. So, but always encourage people to learn. That doesn't mean that you're gonna send people to 5, 6 conferences a year. I understand that it's very expensive, but at least one conference a year or one training course plus magazines, subscription of the magazine. They are not very expensive. Actually, some of them they are free. Um, so you can learn by yourself on that. So you always promote learning by themselves, by him or by herself, reading, write books as well. You can actually build your own library, engineering library by magazines and books, and they need to be available for everybody. So that's the way to promote this competency as well. So I recommend to do these 4 activities as the end of this video. One is develop your learning program. So do it with improvement with the continuous improvement department and human resources. They can help you to establish these. One is the training program, like I said, and the another thing is the learning program. And it's very important to establish that. I'm seeing companies that they have that. Work for some of them. A few of them, excuse me, and yeah, works a lot. Everybody's on top of his field, um, and they give a good results because on the last point, they promote conversations. Having your learning program and everybody has knowledge in the particular fields, promote conversations. Remember, nobody knows everything. So not even in process safety, I can tell you. I'm gonna give you an example. The fire safety code of the NFPA is 2 bricks that each book weighs 8 pounds at least. We are talking about between 2 books, 2 codes, around 31 chapters. Nobody knows the 31 chapters. Nobody is the expert in the 31 chapters. Why? Because there is electrical codes, there is a building codes, there is processes that maybe we are not familiarized, etc., etc. but you promote those conversations between departments. Believe me, we are building trust for sure. You are building a good relationships, and also you are building the knowledge. So keep in mind, develop the learning program and promote conversations. Another thing is establish that knowledge system to keep the players, the people who are involved in these type of programs updated, and in technology trends, changes in the standard codes and regulations. And last, maintain a good communication between with the manufacturers. Remember, the manufacturers, people, these guys that they are in sales, most of them they are engineers as well. So, and obviously they are on top of their market, on top of their products. What is involved? What the aspects are involving in the sale, um, standards, codes, regulations. They are on top of that. So always keep in mind that. Keep the good communication with them. But some of those companies actually, because you are buying a product for them or equipment from them, so the investment is fairly is considerable big. So sometimes they offer training by free, as they offer information by free. So keep in mind on that. That's a good information to have to get. Thank you very much. I appreciate all the people who subscribe to my channel. So now I'm on you guys. So I'm gonna post more information. So I think to benefit for yourself or the field that you are working. I'm gonna add my information. I have other channels like I have my Facebook page, my Twitter space, and also I'm in Instagram as well. So thank you very much and have an excellent day. See you on the next video. Bye.